Welcome to the Skincare Academy's Acne and Aging to Glow podcast. I am your host, Hayley Barnes, one of Australia's leading acne naturopaths and educators. I went from having acne myself for over 10 years to studying naturopathic medicine and not only treating the root cause of my acne, but hundreds of women's acne in clinical practice also. Now I teach skin health professionals internationally how to treat the root cause of their clients' acne internally. Acne is a sign that the body needs internal support, and until the individual's internal cause of acne has been addressed, you cannot treat acne. No amount of skincare and treatments will treat the internal root cause of your client's acne. On this podcast, you can expect to learn naturopathic acne treatments, internal skin support, evidence-based treatment plans, the latest acne research, holistic skin fundamentals, and most importantly, how to become the leading acne specialist. I will also introduce you to the most influential industry professionals that I know along the way. Did you know the first body system to address when treating acne internally is always the gut? It is simple. If your client has acne, they have gut issues that need to be addressed before you and your acne client will see results. Which is why I have created a free masterclass called Treat Acne Through the Gut. And in 45 minutes, I teach skin professionals just like yourself in 3 simple steps how to confidently identify and explain the root causes of acne in the gut, using the exact naturopathic case taking questions that I use in clinic, as well as my signature acne face map explained. Why digestion in the stomach, absorption in the small intestine, and elimination in the large intestine needs to be addressed, and addressed systematically and specific to the individual acne client. Now, a big tip is it's not all about the microbiome here. The exact nutrients, foods, and supplements needed to treat acne through the gut. To access this free training, click the link in the show notes, and I cannot wait to see you inside the Treat Acne Through the Gut Masterclass. Welcome back, everyone. As always, another chill, casual conversation, but today is really special because we have the beautiful Kasey, and everybody love on her right now because she is like coming on here today. I have kind of peer pressured her to come on today. I'm not going to lie. Sorry, not sorry. And yeah, she's come on and she's an absolute legend, and I'm so proud of her, which I've told her before. And we were just chatting before about, Kasey's journey and what she's gone on with her skin. And I just mentioned I have a lot of clients that just tap out, and, even after 3 months, they tap out of doing the internal work of clearing their acne. And they really they spiral after that, they kind of give up. And what's been amazing to witness Kasey is she hasn't given up, and she's ridden this journey with us for probably like 9-10 months now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so welcome, Kasey, to the podcast.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, and I thought we could, there is a lot of people listening that are obviously therapists, they're naturopaths, but there is a large majority of people listening to this podcast that have acne themselves. And that's why I wanted to get you on it as well, because you are gold to be able to really help those women to be like, talk the talk, share your story. So everybody wants to know. And like I said, it's always good to tell your story because you start to understand how intense acne actually can be on so many different levels. And until you're like in the thick of it, until you're out of it, you kind of realize it. So can you please start just really casually, like how your acne started, what you struggled with, and yeah, how you're going now?
Yeah, so I've had acne for years and years, probably since I was 16 was where it kind of started. I had really intense periods, so I kind of didn't know how to handle that. So I went to the doctor as usual, not being educated on anything. They put me straight on the pill and was like, this will fix everything, kind of cleared up my skin as well. So I was like, oh, happy days. Like everything is working out for me. I was on that for quite a few years, just kind of swapping between the pills. And I would come off at times because I was kind of over the pill and didn't want to be on it for long term. But then all my acne would come like straight back with a vengeance. And again, not educated. I thought my only choice to kind of clear it was going back on the pill. So that was like on and off pretty much until I was like 18, 19. And then I really wanted to come off the pill. It just wasn't working for me at the time. So I did. And again, I flared up. So I got put on doxycycline. And that was for a hot minute. I was on it for a lot longer than I should have been. I think I was on it for like a year or so. So it was a very long time to be on something. And again, not educated on the side effects that that could have. So they kind of realized I was on it for a long time. So they took me off it. And that's just when it all went downhill. I wasn't on anything for the first time in like 6 years, 7 years. And it just flared up ridiculous amounts, like the worst it's ever been. So it was a lot to deal with, especially heading into being like 21, 22. So I'm heading into an adult and I've got all this adult acne now, the worst it's ever been. So it was a lot on the mental health. It was a lot to kind of deal with, especially when I haven't dealt with that big of breakout in that long. So I really knew that these like kind of blanket fixes weren't doing the job. I knew that I had to actually do something about it. So I tried facials first because I just thought it was like a top of the skin thing. Um, not educated that it was actually an internal thing and it all starts internally. So that was where again a bit more education and research had to happen. I was seeing a facial therapist and they actually recommended to go to a naturopath. And that's how I ended up seeing Haley and getting the knowledge that I needed to know just about my body and hormones and gut health and sleep and exercise and everything that has to deal with pretty much internally to then show externally. So long journey.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow, look at you now. Beautiful smiling face and so confident and sassy biatch. It's so cool to like, be on the other end as well. Like if you were me and you saw you like, at the start and then you see you now and just like, how you talk and how you just told your story and just, yeah, it's really cool to see and witness, from like the start where you started and it was a really dark place and I have been there too. And I think a lot of people are still there. And so if, Kasey can just rattle off that and, this was not a walk in the park for this girl. Like Kasey literally was like in the trenches. Her flare ups, her body was inflamed. And so the flare ups that we were dealing with were massive for Kasey. It's kind of like 2 steps forward, 10 back, 5 steps forward, 15 back to try to, really get to the bottom of it. But like I said to Kasey, and I say to all my clients, how long have you had acne? Like, this is what we're looking at. And this is not the sexy stuff that anyone wants to talk about, like facials and skincare and treatments. That's sexy and that's fun. And that's, well, not all the time fun, but it's like pampering. Whereas doing the actual disgusting, hard internal work that's boring sometimes and that you don't want to do isn't sexy. So it's kind of like, but it needs to be done to really get the results. And there's no way to beat around the bush. It has to be done. No one really wants to do it, but it has to be done to get the results. And otherwise, you're just going to stay on the hamster wheel for the rest of your life, unfortunately. And nobody talks about that. Like, you know, I see women that are like 45 with full acne still because they haven't done the work when you've done the work now, Kasey, and they've gone through their whole life like this. And it's heartbreaking because you don't need to, but they need to do it for them. And that's what we were talking about. Like, I can't do it for you. I can give you the education, I can support you, I can hold your hand, you know, I can educate you, you know, in whatever way you need about whatever the root cause of your body is. But Kasey needs to do it at the end. And she did. So
Yeah, it definitely was not an easy feat, and I definitely had to change pretty much every single aspect of my life. Again, with the eating, the sleeping, the exercise, and just really listening to my body and what it needs. I never was looking after my body, especially nutrition wise, because I was on the pill and stuff. So I didn't have any reactions that I could see externally. So I just like, oh, nothing affects me. I have no health like issues. And then getting off it, it was really just like, wow, there's just poor digestion. There's lack of sleep is actually affecting you. Like it actually really is not good on the body when you're not looking after it. And it really does show. And yeah, looking after it is not an easy feat as well when you've never looked after it in 21 years, 22 years. So yeah, definitely a lot of hard work, but at the other end of it, it's you feel the greatest. Not even like look your best that you've probably looked in a while, but you feel good about yourself because you know that you've done the hard yards, you know what your body needs, you know how to look after it. Again, just education and the willingness to actually follow through.
and the willingness to ask questions, I also was on doxycycline for a year. I also went on Roaccutane. I also was in the trenches like before I went to uni for 8 years and like worked out what the fuck was going on. Like it took me 2 uni degrees to work it out. So like I say to people, like don't ever feel like, you know, scared or like there's something wrong with you. I used to always feel like there was something actually like mentally wrong with me. I don't know. Like I just felt like I didn't get a DNA sniff or something that I needed to. And like everything I was doing wasn't working for me. And I was just like the only person that was, you know, and so many people, so many clients feel like that, but it's not. It's literally when it comes down to it, it's education and then understanding the body in a step-by-step process. Because if you just go in there with all of these supplements and you're going to work on your gut health and this and that, but then you haven't worked on lymphatics, which is connected to that. And, you know, it all goes hand in hand. So what do you think has been like, we'll start with the most challenging. What do you think like over working with me? By the way, everyone, Kasey and I worked together when I was doing one-on-ones. We worked together for 6 months. Just a little background story on that. What do you think was the most challenging, like, change or within, like, you know, working with me for like 6 months or so?
I'd probably say the hardest thing was changing my diet. Again, I was never really a healthy eater. I was always a chicken nugget and chips girly, didn't like my vegetables, didn't like my salads. So that obviously was taking a huge effect on my gut and my body and my energy levels. So changing all that, I've pretty much changed my whole entire diet now. And at the start, it was a lot. We had to kind of meet in the middle quite a few times of what I could eat. There was a lot of negotiating, but Haley was amazing and always trying to work with me and figure out what I would actually eat because there's no point again, making all these grand plans with these meals. And then I know me personally, I'm not going to go away from the appointment and follow through and eat it. So it was a lot of discussions of what I actually like, what I'm actually willing to try. I did step out of my comfort zone quite a few times and ate things that I never would eat, like carrots. Never ate carrots. And now I have carrots every single day. I can't live without eating carrots, which I never thought I would ever say, ever. But yeah, definitely my diet was the huge challenge for me. And I'm so glad I did change it though, because now I barely eat any junk food, barely eat any sugar, I don't eat any dairy, and I feel better. Like I actually don't crave it, which again, never thought I would say.
Holy shit, I almost leaned back on my chair. My chair's one of those lean ones. That is so good. And that's the ultimate goal. Like, that's my next question. I was be like, do you like want to eat other foods? Are you like really looking forward to, eating foods that you've changed? Like, do you feel like your taste buds have changed? Like, what's your vibe with food at the moment?
My taste buds have definitely changed. As I said, like, I can't remember the last time I've had, like, any takeaway. Like, I've had probably takeaway, like, maybe twice or 3 times this year, which, again, is huge to me. I used to get, like, takeaway at least once a weekend. I'd crave it. I'd get so excited. And now I'm just like, I can't think of anything worse. I feel crap afterwards. It just doesn't taste as nice as a home cooked meal. Like, it yeah, my taste buds have completely changed, I guess, again, with my mindset. I just don't feel good after eating it, and I know that, like, there is the potential for it to not digest properly still with my still my progress that's happening. Um, so, yeah, it's just not in my mind anymore to want it. I'll get the odd sugar craving, but I think that also is to deal with my period still just getting those fine lines kind of straightened out still as well. But yeah, compared to how I was 9 months ago, I never thought I'd be saying any of this, to be honest.
Which is so good. And the best thing, like more than just like the visual of your skin, which is looking amazing. Like you just like, oh, I had a sugar craving, but I knew it was like my cycle. Maybe it was a bit of insulin resistance. Like you know exactly what's happening with your body. Like
Hmm.
I don't, you do. You know better than me because you're like that's what we need to empower, women to take charge and be in control of their body and understand what the body is trying to tell you because they're not telling the doctor, they're not telling me, they're not telling your skin therapist. We really need to support, and that confidence is what's going to make you make healthy choices out as well. Like that's awesome. You want to stay home and cook. I do too. I love home cooking. Don't have those cheap plant oils and canola oils that a lot of restaurants use. You can use butter, you can use ghee, you can use olive oil. You're not going to break out. You feel healthier, but sometimes you go on holidays, you go out, you do things, and you give and take. But you feeling and you being educated, what choices to make when you are out,
Mhm.
like you get options and you're just like, all right, I'll do the best I can with what I got, and then we'll go with
Yeah,
it.
definitely.
Yeah. So that was the most challenging. What do you feel like was the most rewarding, uh, thing from working with me?
Definitely fixing my sleep.
Yeah.
That took a strain on me. I've always had, again, sleeping problems, which I think was just a poor diet, a poor everything. I wasn't looking after myself. But yeah, with the intense insomnia that I was experiencing when we first started working together, especially since I moved, my body was just under so much stress and anxiety, and it just wasn't functioning good. So then I wasn't sleeping properly, and then the next day it was just a bad cycle for quite a few months. So the fact that that is now pretty much completely under control, I'm asleep by like 8:30, 9 o'clock every night, up by 5, ready for the day, do my exercise in the morning. Like, I've never had as much energy as I do now. I never thought I'd be saying I'd be up at 5 o'clock. Anything before 7:30 used to scare the hell out of me. So the fact I'm waking up at 5 willingly is a huge progress. But just feeling rested and throughout the day, my brain can actually function and it's not cloudy, it's not overwhelmed, it's not overworked. Um, I don't get as stressed easily now. I used to be a little ball of anxiety, just everything used to stress me out. So I think just having my sleep under control just affects so much of my day to day life now in such a good way. Um, so that was definitely my biggest achievement that I'm really happy has happened.
Because sleep is everything, isn't it? Like hormone health, gut health, regeneration, skin regeneration. And if everybody listening, if you have acne, I asked Kasey what was the best thing that happened to her, like over the 6 months of working. And she did not say her skin, she said her sleep. So that is the mindset of someone who is going to achieve clear skin. because they are looking at the internals and they're happy that they're literally changing their life and working on their body first and their mind and their sleep before their skin, because a lot of people are like, marketed to in this world that it needs to be the other way. And I know we talked about this, Kasey, you are on a lot of different skincare and it can be quite overwhelming as well. And there is a time and place. But I like to really support skin therapists in the industry to go back to basics with their acne clients. Go back to basics and focus on nutrition, root causes, and really focus on supporting clients that way. The honey facial mask. It's a bit messy, but like stock Manuka honey in your skin clinics, and support your acne clients to do that as a part of their skincare, as opposed to stripping and using acids and things like that. I mean, mandelic acid would probably be the only one that I would recommend. And, just go really grassroots and just give them the time and the support that they need, and the body will do the rest.
Yeah. No, we did really scrape back my skincare routine.
But
I was
you
doing
felt like, you felt real. I felt that you felt really like relieved and like a weight had been lifted off your shoulders, and you were just like, this is minimal, this is all I need. And I think, I was kind of like not mentally challenging you, but to really like be like, let go of the skincare and like go inwards. You can do it simply when we focus on everything else. And you took the bait and you just went for it.
Yeah, no, it definitely was good. I mean, at the time, I think I was doing like 7 to 10 steps a day, like a night, and it was draining me by the end of it. I was tired just doing those steps. Like, I couldn't do it anymore. And it was just that fear of like, oh, but like everyone says, like, you have to have all these things in your skincare routine. Like, once you stop doing them, I'm going to break out even more. It was definitely that fear again, when we first started. So we think we nailed it down to 3 steps or 2 or 3. And I've still stuck to that exact same routine and I love it. And I couldn't think of adding any more unnecessary steps, to be honest.
Because the thing is, like, you know, the therapists that have had acne themselves are usually the best, not being biased, but they are. But if you are wanting to work with clients that have acne and you haven't had acne yourself, doing like, a 7-step skincare process. When you have acne, skincare is like medication. It's not like a fun thing. It's not like pampering or luxury. It's literally survival. You're like putting it on and hanging on to it with every little last hope that this is going to work. So that takes a big toll mentally on people with acne as well. So to really start supporting clients to look inwards and, listen to their body and minimize skincare and focus more on like the internals, I think changes acne clients' whole health, because it's nasty. We're told like you have to have this skincare product and this, go to do this treatment and that's going to be able to solve all your problems, which everybody knows that's bullshit, because it's not. And like same thing, it's not sexy to do the internal work, but you know yeah, like look at Kasey, like, do support your clients to do the internal work. And that's what I teach in Advanced Acne to Glow, is to teach your clients how to do the internal work and let them do it themselves, pass on that education, because you're doing yourself, I would do Kasey a disservice if I told her to go get this treatment every month and use her 7-step skincare process and then just like take dairy out and sugar out and then that's it. See you later. That's not what we do. That is just like not even the surface level of the work we do. And I suppose for people who haven't seen a naturopath, or maybe some people have, and people have had shocking stories with naturopaths that they've told me, they're like, they just loaded me up on thousands of dollars worth of supplements. One lady said to me she went to go see a naturopath for her skin and she got all the blood tests, and the naturopath looked at the blood test and was like, yeah, you're fine. Peace out. And I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
Like for the people that have either seen a really dodgy naturopath or, want to see a naturopath and haven't before, what would you say like your journey was like for people that have no idea what it's like working with a naturopath?
Um, it's
Because
it's
you worked with a naturopath before
Yeah.
me.
So, and she was shocking, to be honest. I don't even think she was a real naturopath, but she just kind of prescribed me again with like all this random stuff. Wasn't really telling me what it was in the first place, which A should have been my first red flag, but also B just promising the world like, oh, if you take this, it will clear up within a week or two. Like, and it was just again all this false hope and
Red
no.
flag.
Yeah, yeah. All as far as hope, no real education. It was just kind of take this and yeah, see you later. I'll take your money and that's it. Like it just was no education. I had no idea still what was causing it, why I was breaking out. It was just like, oh, take these magic potions and you'll be fine. And when that didn't happen, it's a letdown. It's frustrating. You've spent all this money. It's really disappointing and disheartening, and it makes you nervous to seek more help down the line, like from another naturopath again. Like you don't want to be sucked in. So yeah, again, it's really hard to start your journey and not knowing where to start and who is actually there to help you. Um, so yeah, going through that, I was a bit apprehensive going to another naturopath, but I thought, I'll give it a go. I'll see. I did a lot of research and did my background looking this time.
It
And
did work on me.
yeah, yeah. And the results show. I found that, she had results and you knew your stuff, definitely. And I thought, let's give it a go. And yeah, best decision I ever made, looking back on it now. But it is scary when you have been burnt in the past by people that aren't actually looking to help you, and you can be very disheartened very easily, especially when you're already so fragile about your skin.
You're so vulnerable. Like you already feel like crap. You've got a face full of acne. You're probably depleted in so many nutrients. You're just trying to get through the day. You're probably not sleeping, like stressing out. And you finally like, invest the money, put yourself out there. And then to have like such a letdown from a naturopath that isn't a specialist in acne, maybe hasn't got the right degree, maybe hasn't got a degree at all, because like the beauty industry, naturopaths, we're not regulated. So like old mate down the road, just chilling out on wherever, they could just be call themselves a naturopath. So you really have to check to make sure that your naturopath has a minimum bachelor level qualification, specializes in skin or specializes in acne if you have acne, and then go from there. Really ask them and ask them questions. Be like, can you share your degree with me? Can you share your experiences with me? Ask questions. I actually don't know if I've ever said this, but I went to a naturopath before I studied to be a naturopath. And I had an experience like you too, Kasey. I went in and I remember I sometimes use Metagetics products, but I don't ever use one line of products. Like I'm just like, all right, I'm going to prescribe all Metagetics products to my patients. I just use the best from each range that has the most bioavailable sources. It's going to be, liposomal. It's going to be the best absorbed. It's going to be the highest quality, and it's at the dosage that the client needs. Blah blah blah. But she put me on all Metagenics products, so it was just one range, and she had me doing like a keto thing. I was buying the bar. Well, my parents were at that time. I was buying the bars from her, the protein bars. I was buying the snacks, the food from her. I had all the Metagenic supplements, and I think my mum, bless her, she ended up paying like $800 worth of supplements just from that one appointment because I wanted to, clear my skin and I was getting bullied and all these other things. So, like, for parents with kids, like, who want to do the right thing and treat the root cause, just be really mindful of what naturopath you take your children to, and the costing of it, and asking the questions. You cannot treat acne with skincare, facials, and treatments alone. It is as simple as that. You need to treat the cause of acne holistically to internally treat acne long term. You see, a lot of therapists I have spoken to have even thought about going back to uni to study nutrition or naturopathy, but the thought of paying over $70,000 in tuition fees and studying full time for 4 years is just too much for them to manage with their current workloads. I have been helping skin therapists and professionals just like yourself learn how to treat the cause of acne with nutrition, lifestyle modifications, herbal medicine, with great success. I have over 13 years' experience in the field of naturopathic medicine, and this is why I have created my signature step by step curriculum teaching therapists how to understand naturopathic clinical case taking skills and how to treat the internal cause of acne. I love seeing therapists step into their role of a confident, holistic, internal, external acne specialist. My therapists, who are Advanced Acne to Glow partner clinics, naturally show up online more confidently because they are able to talk the talk and also walk the walk. This is absolutely key in this industry for your business to be successful and for you to move forward in this field of treating acne holistically. You will learn how to heal your client's gut, balance their hormones, support liver detoxification processes, nourish their nervous system, provide lymphatic support, all using food as medicine and key naturopathic treatment modalities. The level of holistic treatment you will be able to provide to your clients will naturally attract higher quality and more aligned clientele to you, as you will be positioned as the holistic acne expert. This means more income, more long-term results for your clients, more loyal clients, and more confidence in your ability to treat the cause of acne, internally and externally. This is what I teach inside Advanced Acne to Glow, my step-by-step course teaching skin professionals how to treat the cause of acne internally in their skin clinics. No need to refer to a nutritionist, doctor, dermatologist anymore, leaving money and long-term results on the table. You can and you will achieve these results for your clients naturally yourself. Click the link in my show notes or in my Instagram bio to join Advanced Acne to Glow if you would like to become the confident, holistic acne expert and help hundreds of clients achieve their dream skin and health goals.
It definitely goes a long way and saves you a lot of pain and money and, yeah, just a lot of anxiety down the road if you kind of look out for yourself and you take notice and take care in the care that you're going to be provided.
Yeah, that's it. And I think, to really check in with your clients, have as a practitioner to really make sure that someone is going to be there, and someone's going to say, I'm not going anywhere. We're going to do this together. It's not going to be fun, but we're going to get there in the end. And that's what I say to all my one-on-one clients. And sometimes I lose people and I'm like, peace out, wish you all the best. And that's fine, but the people that stay and the people I'm like, I will get you results because you will get yourself results. Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. What would you say to someone who has acne that's listening right now, who is maybe on the pill and is shitting their pants to come off the pill because they've come off the pill before and they've broke out and, they're just a bit curious about what the whole treating the internal is and what is their internal root cause. They're just a bit confused about the whole thing, but they're on the pill at the moment. What would you kind of say to them?
I would say it's normal to be scared and a bit confused and just not sure about anything. Again, it's a lot of education, and if we're not taught that education, it can be really scary and frightening. It is hard to also, again, get that education. You kind of have to you can do it yourself, but also if you go to someone, make sure you're getting the right education. If you're not sure where to start, again, just kind of keep an eye out, keep an ear out, listen to other people's stories, do a lot of research, just dive deep into the internet. Honestly, there's so much resources at our touch. We just don't know where to start, and it is overwhelming. If you just kind of leave notes for yourself, just take your time, not rush into it. It can take you a while to kind of build up a report of what you need to potentially start doing. You don't have to jump off the pill kind of straight away and just dive in head first. It can be a lot at the start. So you can kind of make sure you're prepared and just kind of slowly get the ball rolling and just trust that it will work out. It's going to be fine. It is scary. It is a lot. And I don't know.
That is perfect. And exactly what Kasey said, like you don't have to, you can do so much while you're on the pill as well to support your body and your detoxification pathways, your elimination pathways. So then when you decide you're ready to come off the pill, you're going to have less. I'm not going to say you're going to have no, you're going to have, or you might, I don't know, depending on what's happening in your body, more of, less of a reaction and less of a breakout for having like post-pill acne. So you can do a lot while you're on the pill as well, which I think a lot of people like are I'm on it or I'm off it, and I'm ready for the backlash. So you can do a lot while you're on it as well. And that's like Kasey said, don't stress out because we know stressing out causes more acne, more cortisol in the body. So just take your time. And yeah, look at, there's so many amazing acne naturopaths. You can jump onto my, Instagram, have a search around where you are, and really focus on. But like Kasey said, there's so much information out there. So just make sure that they're qualified, they've been to uni, they know what they're talking about. When they're talking, like, don't look at someone who's just tooting their horn the whole time. Look at someone who's actually sharing education on their platform as well, not just like, come, appointments are $200, come see me now, got appointments available. No, look at someone who's being like, okay, this is the elimination pathways, this is what you need to do to get started. If you're interested, send me a DM. These are the type of people and the terminology within the field of acne that you need to be looking for.
Yeah, I agree, definitely.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I remember like, yeah, having, and we had your bloods done, and like a lot of clients, a lot of the doctors aren't trained in regards to like functional medicine. Some are, some aren't. Your GP, they are looking for signs of just disease in the body, not the function of the system. So when we had a look at a lot of Kasey's blood test results, we went through a really lovely journey and like explaining to Kasey what that actually means, even though it's maybe inside the numbers in regards to what we're looking for disease, and you say, oh, you're fine. When we run our naturopathic eye over it with a fine tooth comb looking in the function, it's not fine. And that's like a really good clue for us to be able to work with Kasey and to really fine tune and individualize what's happening for her, because everybody's acne is so different. Like sleep was massive for Kasey, and obviously nutrition. I mean, everybody knows nutrition and skin now, but sleep, not a lot of people are kind of talking about that, but sleep was massive for Kasey. And, it's sometimes hard to find that also on a blood test. We did rising cortisol and things like that, which we already knew that, but sometimes you need to have the black and white on paper to show your clients as well, and for them to really have the wake up call that they needed. But yeah, having, Kasey was like very struggling with her sleep, and so to know that she's getting up at 5 and she's going to bed like on time, that is massive. And I'm so excited because you'll be able to like, even if you fall off the bandwagon sometimes, which might happen, you'll look back and be like, oh my God, I was like getting up at 5 and then going to bed at like 9:30 and having so much energy. I want to get back to that again. So you have like such a beautiful example that you've set for yourself that you can always like work towards.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree with that. As I said, it's something I never thought I would end up doing in my life. So the fact that I have done it and I enjoy it, I could always go back in the future, like, oh, remember that time that I was doing this routine and I felt really good doing it. So it's definitely always good to have a reference point for the routine I'm doing now. Definitely.
And like we mentioned at the start of this call, Kasey was referred to me from a skin therapist. And I'm grateful for that referral. But what I'm about is like empowering the skin therapist to really take Kasey under their wing and explain everything in regards to, and that's what I teach in Advanced Acne to Glow. And I just feel like, Kasey went from one naturopath to a skin therapist to another naturopath. I just feel like if we could have skin therapists more educated in regards to internals, not saying they're a naturopath, but there's so much that you can do without needing to have a prescription. Like there's so much work that could have been done with that skin therapist, with Kasey, that they initially connected together. I could have come in there in the end, but she could have been Kasey's primary therapist if she had done Advanced Acne to Glow and she was educated, because Kasey had acne. She was coming to her to treat her acne. And, unfortunately, that therapist wasn't able to fulfill that need. I'm grateful for the referral. She's a beautiful therapist, but my wish and hope is that we have more and more therapists where we have vulnerable acne clients coming to, and those therapists can step up and really, fill in the education there, which our acne clients are sourcing and needing to take that next level. So, imagine like walking into every like skin place and there is a designated Advanced Acne to Glow therapist there that can be a one-stop shop to not only do a treatment on you when you need, because that's really good for your mental health as well. Obviously, topically we can do a lot with scarring as well, but can give you a minimalized skincare and then can do all of the internals, understand the root cause, and really walk that path with you in that one-stop shop. Yes, okay, we've analyze that we need to have some blood testing. We'll get a naturopath in, or I'll be able to teach you. The therapist will be able to see red flags, which doctors can't, and we'll get the naturopath in if we really need a prescription. But the ball is in the skin therapist's court, because I feel like a lot of people are getting like going into places and not really getting what they want from there, and then going to naturopaths and then sometimes not finding what they want from there. So there's a lot of like people going everywhere at the moment. How would you feel like if you walked in and that skin therapist was like, yep, could take you through like da 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 da, explain, she was your designated acne specialist in regards to external and internals? How would you feel like going in?
Yeah, no, so that's kind of like all I ever kind of wanted from the start, especially when I was already kind of pre-burned by my other naturopaths. So going into like a skin therapist, I was like, oh, they know everything and all the tips and tricks. I know they can get my skin feeling and looking amazing. So the fact that they could do that, but also at the same time educating me on everything that I want and making me feel good on the inside, and then also adding a little extra and making me feel good on the outside, definitely would be like the perfect situation or scenario that I would love to have had when I first started my skincare journey, to be honest.
Yeah, it just cuts out more people, and then you have that one person. They're your main. We all know that skin therapists can't prescribe, but it's not just about the prescription. Like, we have to get out of that mindset that even just the skincare or even just one supplement is going to save you, because it's not, you know. And a lot of naturopaths use that as like a selling, like I can prescribe, like I have the prescription, I can write the practitioner only products and things like that. And yes, I can, but a lot of people aren't talking about that just that one prescription is not going to like treat acne. Like, it's a full on holistic approach. Like, you just give someone, and I do it all the time, like people pay so much money if they want to work on every little single thing, and I will give them the treatment plan. And they want to have NAC, they want to have glutathione, they want to work on their hormones. We've got all of these other types of things that they're doing. And they do all that and they pay the money, but they're not focusing on their sleep, or they're not making choices for their right nutrition that they need. And they're just cutting out dairy and sugar because that's what everybody tells you to do. That's not everything that you need to do. And then they're taking all these supplements and they still have acne.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, why is nobody talking about that, Kasey?
Yeah, honestly, I used to think that too, though. Again, that was from my previous naturopath. It was like, oh, if you just take this supplement, It'll do everything you need to do. You don't have to do any extra hard internal work. It's kind of like the same with doxycycline. You have it in your head like, oh, supplements will just be like this blanket fix that makes me not need to actually work hard for what I want. It's like I had that kind of thought in my head for so long until I started with you, and I always looked at the start like, oh, I just want this to be like fixed. If I just like want these supplements to fix like everything that I need to do. I don't want to like fix my diet. I don't want to fix everything. It's going to be so hard. But it's definitely not the case. Everything is so interconnected, and you need to actually get it to work properly from the start so you don't have to rely on the supplements. Supplements are just meant to be this little extra boost if you need it. It shouldn't be like, oh, I'll just live on supplements for the rest of my life and that's it. I don't need to fix anything else, because that's definitely not the case. And that was a hard reality I needed to come to at the start as well.
Yeah, like where's the plan? Like what's the dosage? Like what are we weaning off here? Like what's the conversation? Like why isn't anybody, well, not everybody, but good naturopaths will wean you off. Like you cannot rely on supplements your whole life. And I think we've just been drummed, and because I was drummed, like I literally thought there was something wrong with me. And so when I found that one nutrient or that one supplement that was going to fix that thing that I thought was wrong with me, then I thought I was going to be right. So, which was like so messed up, because that wasn't, so you have to really undo all of this like processing and patterning. I find working with clients with acne, it's a big mental health journey as well. And a lot of people still aren't talking about that now with like filters and AI and like the online world, which is amazing. My whole business is online, but I feel like nothing will replace like having a conversation or speaking out what's happening internally, or the thoughts that you are tricked into believe that they're real but they're not when you have acne. And sometimes that internal voice is like way louder than like you can't quieten it. And it's so hard to hear people say, oh, just do meditation or just paint, or and I've even said that to you, but it's just like it is also like a neurological deficiency. Like there needs to be support there in regards to nervous system processing. It's not just a quick fix. And it's a brain pathway that when you have acne every time, not even when you look in the mirror, like, you mentioned to me sometimes, like, you would just feel like everybody is looking at you. And even though they weren't, but you just literally, your brain is just in sympathetic nervous system dominance all the time, because you're just so wound up that everybody's looking at your skin and my skin, and I'm going to break out. And, like, I think that's often swept under the carpet because we'll have a filter or we'll put makeup, or we'll just like put the mental health to the side because that's also not sexy. And sometimes when you clear your acne, that voice is still there, and that's what nobody's really talking about either. It still comes up, and it's still something you have to consciously like backtrack and not listen to. Do you feel like, because now you're like on the other end, you're really just working on scarring at the moment, and like managing your cycle, and obviously you got your sleep down pat, but where you're at with your health and your skin at the moment. How do you feel now that a lot of your initial health complaints have now been supported, and you're educated and you feel more in control? How do you feel from like mental health side of things?
Yeah, so that's a tricky one still. I think when you have acne, especially for so long and for so severe as I did, it really does play on your mind. Like I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I do my skincare in the dark. Like it wasn't just like, oh, I have acne, I feel gross. It was like I hated looking at myself. Like it was deep in the trenches, as you said. So I don't think just because now I am on the other side, it magically has gotten rid of that past trauma. It really does stick with you. And you kind of me personally, always have this little fear that like, oh, what if I go back there? Because it was such a dark place. You're just so kind of still on the edge of like, yeah, what if it does go back? What if I do have a flare up like that again? What if something might trigger it that I didn't know would trigger it? If you try new foods, or if you just something else happens in your life, if you go through another traumatic situation and that doesn't relate to your skin, will that then affect my skin? Like, I think there's always just going to be this kind of niggling trauma feeling a little bit under the surface, and that worry. It does feel good to know that I can come out the other side, and that does help kind of balance it to be like, okay, if it does happen again, you will come out the other side.
Yeah.
You do have that more profound confidence and just a bit more of a stronger mentality than I ever did before. But yeah, it's hard. I think that trauma does definitely stick with you and probably will stick with me for quite a while. I said it's only just started coming out the other end. So I think I do have a while for that confidence to keep building and building and hopefully stamp out the trauma over time. But there is definitely a trauma that and a mental health side that does really affect you and stick with you when you have acne. Again, it is something that is the first kind of focal point that people can see. It's not something you can really hide. It's someone looks at you, someone has a conversation with you, it's there. You can't hide it. I mean, you can put makeup on, but you can't hide it completely like you can if it was on your arms or your back or
Mm.
something you can cover up with. So it takes a lot on the mental health, and it does take a lot on your confidence, but coming out the other side, it does help shed that trauma just that tiny bit to be like, okay, well, it's not a forever thing. I can fix it. Um, and yeah, it's a lot, but it does get better. It definitely does get better.
Yeah, and it's like a muscle, like you train, you do Pilates or you do whatever, you tone up. It's kind of like the more you have that thought and you're just like, no, actually I've got this, like, or just like, okay, brain, let's say that it happens to me. Well, I'm going to come out the end anyway. So like, let's just focus on what we've done and what progress we've made, and let's just try to do the best we can, and then we'll just go from there. Every time you like have that back and forth, that's another flex of that mental health muscle that, is going to make you stronger at the end of the day. But I often feel like this is also a conversation that people don't have, in regards to a lot of people with acne don't feel confident, like professionally, like they won't ask for a pay rise. They won't want to leave a job, like, and, say their boss, like if they want to leave, like being intimate with other people, dating, friendships, going out on, outings and things like that. So there's so much that other people have really, that over the years that I've been working with acne, the stories that I've heard and things like that. So if you're one of those people listening now, like you're not alone. And I feel like anybody who's had really bad acne, understands where you're coming from, because I know it used to always frustrate me when people would just have like one pimple or two pimples and they'd be like, oh my God, it's the end of the world.
Yep.
And I felt like that was, and for them, it actually probably is, because they're not acne prone, and that's just like the worst it's ever been for them. So love and respect to them. But like when you are acne prone and you have acne all over your face, it's something like not a cold and flu that you could hide. It's not like an internal, type of thing. It's literally smack bang right over your face. There's big pustules there that everyone's looking at that's just saying like pick it or whatever. And I used to not, because I was so scared to scar. And so I'm like, yes, I know it's there. And yes, I'm consciously not picking it. Like, I know what's happening. So to hear like that you've come out the other side and you've had all those thoughts, and Kasey's thoughts were really, like, she was really hard on herself. So to have like where she is now is such a massive improvement. And I think I'm so proud of you for mentally being like so much stronger, and like, kind of just being like, yeah, I've got this. Then, because when you have that mindset, you're gonna go to sleep. You want to go to sleep. Like, do you know what I mean?
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. Having a stronger mindset definitely impacts your day-to-day life. You can just do things without second guessing, without hiding from the world. Even if you do have a breakout here or there, you don't shut yourself off as much as you used to. I used to really shut myself off and not want to leave the house. And just was like, yeah, everyone's staring. It's like it's the end of all. Like I can't do anything with my life. I didn't want to do anything, but now I get a new breakout here or there, especially on my period time or something like that, and I'll still go out and I'm like, yeah, so what? So what? I've got a pimple. Like people break out. Like if it doesn't affect anyone, and if it does, that's a them problem. Like which again, that was never my mindset ever. So it definitely helps being a lot more confident in yourself and just knowing that you're doing everything that you can for yourself is a bonus.
Yes, girl. People with acne are literally going to change the world because they've gone through this massive transformation, not just about their skin, but their confidence, their sleep, their nervous system, their lymphatic system, their hormones, like their everything. They've done the internal work. Like how many people have an opportunity to go through this massive transformation in their life? I mean, touch wood, I hope this never happens, but when they're faced with a life-threatening illness or they're faced with something that's very scary and scares the shit out of them, they make all these changes. And we get to do that because we have acne and our body's like, hey, listen up. If you don't listen up, I'm going to slap this all over your face. So you do listen up. And so we need to listen up and we get to make all of these changes and, get to live the rest of our life in balance because we've listened and we've, or where we know what we need to do to get back into balance. So after all these years, I'm grateful that I actually had acne because it taught me what I needed to do younger in my life. And I was grateful that I listened. I don't know. What's your thoughts about that?
Um, I definitely agree. I think I'm still at the fairly new tail end of coming out of it. So my thoughts are still freshly like, it'd be great if I didn't have to go through all that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like again, it did change my life for the better. I'm the healthiest I've been, just eating, sleeping, just anxiety wise. Like I've always had anxiety. And now it's just barely there at all. So it definitely did change my life. It would be great if it wasn't so intense at the time. But yeah, no, it gives you opportunities to really look inwards and to focus on things because again, yeah, you don't really have a choice. It's gonna slap it all over your face. It's gonna make it there. It's gonna make you listen. Whereas on the pill, I probably had half of this. I did have anxiety. I had bad sleep, but because again, I wasn't getting those external like symptoms where I could really see it and it was getting me down, I didn't pay attention to it. So I was just like, oh yeah, I have bad sleep. Oh yeah, I'm riddled with anxiety. Oh well, like at least my skin's clear. Like it wasn't too much of a trouble to me. Whereas, yeah, when I completely went off everything, it was like, oh, okay, your body's screaming. You need to listen. It's time. And now coming out the other end, it's like, thank God you did listen.
And thank God you went off the pill. Like, just like I feel like, it prolongs and masks a lot of key red flags that, women need to listen to. Not just with skin, but hormones and everything like that as well.
Yeah.
Aw. Well, it's been so nice chatting to you, and thank you so much for coming on today. Thank you for your time. This is your day off, so you've really done us a winner there with coming on today. Is there anything else that you want to say before we wrap it up?
Um, just to you're not alone, guys. Like, yeah, I think it's hard, especially looking around these days with, as you said, filters and everything like that. It makes you think like, oh, everyone's got clear skin. It's just me against the world. I promise you it's not. I felt like that as well, and it is hard and it feels impossible at the time, but you don't have to have acne. You can do so much for yourself. And I know at the time it's like, oh, well, this is just my life. Oh, this is how it's meant to happen. Oh, I'm just going to be stuck with acne for the rest of my life. But it's really not the case. And as long as you just kind of listen to your body and what it needs, I'm sure that you'll be able to come out the other end and feel the best that you've ever felt and look back and be like, oh, thank God I did that. So you got this, guys.
Yes. Oh my God, you so do got this. And yeah, if I can do it and Kasey can do it, then you can do it. So if you've listened and you're here, you've listened to this whole episode, like hats off to you. Send me a DM. Look at research. Make sure you're looking at people that have a bachelor level qualification, that are naturopaths. And really look at Like maybe ask your question now. What do you feel like is the root cause of your acne? Like, do you even know yourself? Like some people do. They're just like, oh my God, my sleep.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are so confused about what their root cause is, but when they stop and
Mhm.
just breathe and they look at their body and what's happening in their life and what's an area that they're really struggling with, then that's probably the root cause of your acne. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to be brain scientists to work that out. So I think a lot of people are just like hamster wheeling, you know, there's so many different things that are happening. So just stopping and really, you know, taking that in. But like that just when we were talking about your walking and like I think a part of that is like doing Pilates, doing, you know, walks, slow walks and things like you don't have to smash yourself either. Eat well, go to the gym. Like you don't have to be like so strict and tick all the boxes to have clear skin either. I thought you had to like do all this exercise every day and have the clean, squeaky diet to have clean, squeaky skin, which is not the case either. So I don't think you need to like put people with clear skin on pedestals either, because yeah, it's not just about that. All right, darling. Well, thank you so much for jumping on today, and as always, sending you so much love. Thank you for listening, and I invite you to check out my Instagram. Let me know what resonated with you from this episode. And if you have any questions, you can find me at skincare_academy_. And I'm really looking forward to chatting with you, meeting you, and I hope you have the most amazing day. And I cannot wait to see you again.